Welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. So I am thrilled to be joined by a fellow podcast host, as well as real estate expert, Chris Craddock, who is a nationally certified life coach and leadership and one of the top real estate professionals in the world. That's right. He closes 30 to 65 deals a month. And Chris is the host of the Uncommon Real Estate Podcast, a realtor and entrepreneur. So let's jump right into it. Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the air.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here with you. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. This is an important time of year where many folks are starting to wrap up things. We were just talking offline about, how everybody's running and gunning and running a million miles a minute. But the reality is that you can still put so much into wrapping up your year and ending it with a bang. And I know that that's what you and your many companies are doing. So, Chris, if you don't mind, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself. Demystify the man behind the microphone.
Yeah. So my whole story, I'll try to keep it really quick. I graduated from college in 2000. Went on staff with an organization called Young Life. Love ministry. Love that stuff. My life was changed there. But I made $20,000 to $25,000 a year at the most. And that's when my wife got pregnant. And so I needed to do something to make ends meet in the DC area here. And so I started flipping houses. I made a bunch of money in that and continued doing ministry because I was able to fund my life for a number of years. Always led large teams. I actually went back to school, got a doctorate in leadership. So love leading people. I love Zig Ziglar. You can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want in life. And so with that, in 2011, I've got 6 kids. So my money started running out again. Anybody that has kids understands that really fast. And so I started flipping houses again. And at that point, it was after the crash. So I was doing a lot of short sales. Well, the banks were paying licensed agents commissions for short sales. So I just got licensed and then somehow came across Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, started building a team in December 2014. We built a team really, really quickly. And then from there, now I have 11 other businesses and 11 other streams of income. I love the phrase vertical integrations, all these different pieces where, we're already, working with people. So why not start other verticals that make sense, get paid 5 times on the same transaction.
Love it. Again, I'm chatting with Chris Craddock, the host of the Uncommon Real Estate platform and podcast host. And as Chris just said, 11 different streams of income, but 6 beautiful children. I believe that's still the right number, and been married for over 21 years. So clearly juggling a busy entrepreneurial life and family life. And he's proven that it is indeed possible. So you've coined a term of mindsets to a million, how to grow to a $100 million real estate sales team in less than 5 years. And Chris, our listeners surely are listening and wondering, man, I need to learn from this guy. So you've sort of stumbled on this world of real estate, but it sounds like it's been a mindset for you. So, for all of our listeners that might be in different industries, what's that one lesson that you've learned in entrepreneurship that you want our listeners to put into practice really over the coming months so they could wrap up 2021 with a bang?
Oh my gosh, it's hard to boil it down to one. I would just say this: out of everything that has allowed me to level up, it took, it took us 5 years before we were able to gross $1 million. Gary Keller says, think $1 million, gross $1 million, net $1 million, and then give $1 million. Which being philanthropic is really important to me as well. I think leaving a legacy on this earth is really important. But it took us 2 years to gross $1 million. It took us almost 5 years to net $1 million. But I think as I look at it, the reason why we were able to shorten the learning curve was because I was able to build relationships with people that helped me think bigger, faster, instead of trying to figure it out all on my own. The more I try to figure stuff out on my own, it just I'll figure it all out. I'm a smart enough guy. I'll figure it out. But man, if I can compress, as Tony Robbins says, compress the decades to days, by getting those people in your life that will help you see around corners faster, not make mistakes faster. It's really important to just reach out to the people that you like their vibe and get in relationship with them, pay for coaches, pay for masterminds, just get in the world with people that are going to force you to think bigger, faster.
You just distilled it all into that one, lifelong learning. And I know that that's something you and I have in common, and that's great. So real estate. I want to talk about real estate because many folks that are readers of whether it's the Wall Street Journal, turn on the news, turn on CNBC, whatever the case may be, they're seeing about real estate boom. They're seeing like crazy sky high prices. You've learned a lot about real estate. I mean, Chris, you're the subject matter expert over here. What demystify what's going on behind the scenes of the real estate market, and what should we know, and what are your forecasts for the next few years?
Yeah, on my TikTok and on my Instagram, I talk about what I see coming all the time. What are the economic indicators? Here's the deal. I think I believe that we are in for a strong market in the future, right? What happened in the last year is our government started printing money like crazy, right? 30 of every $100 were printed in the last 12 months, which means we have massive inflation that is happening. We know 6% inflation is what's predicted next year. Well, when there's inflation, what happens is the dollar becomes a melting ice cube and people run towards hard assets. All of the institutional money are running towards gold, silver, real estate, even cryptocurrency, right? So people are running to real estate there. So it's pushing, supply and demand. As there's less supply and more demand, price goes up. Second thing is before 2008, builders for decades were building about 5 million houses a year. After 2008, because one, they went out of business, they went bankrupt. It was harder to get money. And just frankly, they were shell-shocked. We've been looking over the last decade that builders have been building about 1 million houses a year for decades. So literally 20% of what they've been building for decades. So second, we have less supply when it comes to houses that are coming on the market. Third, interest rates are so low, so freaking low. My retail real estate team, we help people buy and sell, but because the real estate interest rates are so low, we're seeing people buy their next house and not have to sell their last house at record rates, right? They're holding on to them as rentals, which is smart, right? In real estate, you don't want to be transaction based. You want to build wealth, and wealth is through holding assets, right? But with that, we're seeing that less people are selling and more people are renting, which again is creating less supply. And as supply is less, right? Like if you're in the desert, you'll pay anything for a bottle of water. If you're in a grocery store, you'll pay 25 cents for a bottle of water, right? So as there's less supply, the prices are getting jacked up and pushed up. So all that to say, and there's so much more, but I know we don't have much time. All that to say, the real estate market for the near future is really strong. And I'm buying 2 houses in the next 30 days because that's where I'm putting my money.
I love it. I'm chatting with Chris Craddock, the nationally certified life coach and leadership, one of the top real estate professionals in the world, as he just said, closing these deals just literally over the next few days and not slowing down too much before the end of the year. And we've been chatting about how you too can really put things in place, whether you're in real estate or whether you're in any other line of work. And we've been chatting about entrepreneurship, chatting a little bit about real estate too. So real quick before we run out of time, and I do want to make sure our listeners know how to get in touch with you. Tell us a little bit about your team, your company, and what you do, and why our listeners should get in touch with you.
Yeah, I help people build wealth through real estate, and that's through working with investors. That's through real estate, our agent business, and anybody can find me on TikTok, just Chris Craddock Official, on Instagram at Craddock, an old cheesy high school nickname, not my last name, but a cheesy high school nickname, Craddrock. I also have my webpage. If you are a real estate investor and you're bringing in direct to seller leads, I have a coaching platform, REI Revive. You can just go to my webpage, chriscraddock.com, just my name, CHRISCRADDOCK.com. And honestly, if you are a real estate agent and an investor, I know the average podcast listener listens to 7 podcasts. Keep listening to this one. I'd love to be one of your other 7. And it's called Uncommon Real Estate. We also have a Facebook group, Uncommon Real Estate, where we talk about how agents need to be bigger than their next transaction, but actually learn how to build wealth.
I love it. And, Chris, you're the master of distilling everything into those short lessons, which explains why you're such a hit on TikTok and all these other platforms. So in 30 seconds or less, can you tell our listeners what's that one goal that you have of how you're going to continue to develop and grow personally? Chris Craddock, what are you doing? What's your New Year's resolution?
New Year's resolution is I am working. My go-to has always been to grow. You need to work harder. And I heard Gary Keller once say this, that if you just work harder to get better, you're cheating. you need to be able to work smarter, right? And so we have been growing like crazy. I believe you can 10x your business by working harder. I believe you can't 100x your business unless you work smarter. So I'm bringing new coaches in. I'm reaching out to people with a net worth that's 10 times my net worth, so that I can have them teach me how to think bigger.
I've been chatting with the Chris Craddock, and can't wait to tune into your podcast and subscribe. Sure to rate, review, and share. Quick break here and get down to business. We'll be right back.